recorded right now, Russell.
Oh, hey, dude!
And we are rolling. And we're filming.
I thought you were going to take a picture first.
We are rolling. So, okay. What does the word, or what does the phrase rather, medical amnesty mean to you? Okay, so, what does the phrase medical amnesty mean to you? Hey, okay, so, do you know what medical amnesty means? So, what does medical amnesty mean to you?
I don't know what that is.
Medical amnesty?
Yes.
Medical amnesty?
Yes.
I have no idea what that means.
I have no idea.
I would say medical amnesty, something like, for instance, bringing relief to a region.
Okay, actuality what it means is it's considered to underage drinking. Where
Medical amnesty.
Medical amnesty.
Okay.
Well, basically what happens is if like a couple kids are underage and they're drinking, and they happen to say have their health an issue, like as in they are so drunk, like if they're going to live or not is the issue. Their friends can call them into the hospital without them being charged with like a felony or misdemeanor for that. And it's been made so it encourages their friends to call them in to save their lives.
Okay.
Do you think that would benefit, students and kids and whatnot, or?
To get drunk to the point where you can't even talk? No, I don't think that's very beneficial.
Sure.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Kind of dying on the spot.
No, not really. I mean, if you are so drunk to the point where you can't even talk, I feel there should be.
But I mean, their friends would be able to do it, because usually the friends who are actually coherent care if they get in trouble and get a felony and go to jail.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, if you're
like 20
that
years.
messed up doing something you're not supposed to do, then.
All right, then. So you don't think it should be passed at all?
No.
Do you think it would benefit people?
Yeah. Okay, so that sounds like a very good program to me, but I wasn't familiar with that.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're not going to get in trouble, like if you think you're going to die because of alcohol poisoning, then, you're more likely to be like, oh, I should go to the hospital. If you're, if you won't get in trouble for it, then if you're going to be like, wow, my parents are going to disown me and I'm going to get in a lot of trouble.
And you think that the Senate should pass it as a law? And do you think that the Senate would pass it as a law? And do you think that the Senate would actually pass it as a law?
Mm-hmm.
Well, just to give you a bit of a background, they tried to pass it the first time, but it failed. And it's actually up for its second go at this point.
I don't know. Given the state of our government these days, I'm not sure that they would, but it sounds like it would make a lot of sense to do that to help children not go off on the wrong path, or even worse, drink so much or be involved with drugs so much that they injure themselves.
All right.
Don't know.
Don't know?
Don't know.
And so you don't even think it's ethical or moral?
Moral maybe, yeah, but ethical, no.
Because it can be abused so much?
Yes.
To have that kind of a law?
Yeah.
I guess it promotes drinking, but at the same time, people are still going to drink anyway. And I'm pretty sure that the reason people don't report that stuff is because they don't want to get in trouble, so you're probably saving a lot of lives. And I think that's still worth it, yeah.
I don't know. I haven't studied it enough to really know.
All right.
I believe it's moral to help the person and to try to save the person's life, to get them out of danger. The other issues around that I'm still unclear about.
All right. And how badly do you think this law would be exploited? And how badly do you think it would be exploited? But don't you think it would be horribly exploited for the exact same reason that you just said?
Well, yeah, maybe, but again, people are going to drink no matter what their age. So...
But don't you think that would encourage people to drink a lot more than they already are?
Yeah, but...
That's the flip side of the coin.
That is the flip side.
Well, I think with anything, there will be people who will find their way around the law or sort of shy away from it. But I think overall it would make sense because it would help a lot of people.
All right.
I mean, there's still that people aren't going to report it because they're so young, so you might be saving lives by passing this law.
I think it would be exploited. You'd have lawyers all over the place on this one, and it depends on the circumstances, obviously. But I think it would be exploited quite a bit.
And which political party do you think would be more willing to pass it? And which political party do you think would be more willing to back this? And I don't think you have perhaps about which political party would like to have it passed or not.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Kind of law.
I would say probably the Democratic Party.
And why would that be?
Usually, it is that kind of issue. It's a rights issue, and when it comes to human rights issues, they have a louder voice when it comes to that. Usually, historically.
Okay.
Democrat.
And why do you think it would be Democrat?
They're more liberal.
And if it was passed, do you think it should be a federal or state law? All right. And do you think it should be a federal or state law? Do you think if it was made into law, do you think it should be federal or state?
I think it would be up to the states.
Well, it makes sense to me for it to cover the whole country, but that's not how our government always works.
Yeah, unfortunately.
State.
And why state?
Because it kind of varies between state and state. Drinking, not like age of drinking, but how many people do drink. In fact, like, I'm pretty sure it's a lot more people drink in Nevada or California or Florida than people who drink in Missouri or something.
So you think it should go on a state-by-state basis because of how the circumstances are for each state?
Yeah.
But you think that there should be a cutoff ultimately? Ugh.
Absolutely. You know, it's like for first or second chances kind of thing, and then after that, if you haven't learned the lessons, then yes, you have to face the consequences.
All right.
What do you mean by a cutoff?
Like, isn't you can't like call them like 5 times a day, saying, "Oh, I'm underage, I'm drunk, my life's in danger, etc., etc., etc."
According to the law, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that would be
Okay.
I mean, 4 times a year, so once every 3 months or something, so it's not like, oh yeah, drink all you want, like, we're not gonna get in trouble for it, like, know that there's still repercussions and, like, stuff like that.
Okay. But do you think that the lives it would save would outweigh the amount it's exploited? But do you think that the pros of how many people's lives it would save, as opposed to the cons of how many people get stuck on drinking as an underage and doing lots and lots of stupid stuff that they should not be doing, do you think the pros outweigh the cons or the cons outweigh the pros? But do you think the cost would outweigh the benefits?
I do, actually. I think that makes a lot of sense, that we can't always just fine people or give them tickets or lock them up in jail. We need to also help to rehabilitate people. So that law would seem to do something like that.
All right.
I think any pro that involves saving people's lives is pretty much worth it.
So you would say that it would outweigh. The
Yeah.
pros would outweigh without a doubt.
Yeah.
I would have to know more on whether or not it's going to actually save a number of lives. But either way, I still think it'd be a law that would be exploited, made a political football, so to speak.
All right. So, but do you personally think that it should be passed as a law?
I really couldn't say until I actually studied it a little bit more. But based on what you explained to me, it seems to make sense. So yes, that.
Do I think the cost will outweigh the benefits? Yes and no.
Well, explain.
Like, you know, you have the cost. I mean, you're gonna, pretty much if you're drinking while you're underage, you should get in trouble anyway, you know? I mean, it's the law. There's a reason that there is a drinking age. It's because you obey it. That is why it's a law. But then, I mean, if you get a benefit, if you do happen to get drunk due to peer pressure, wanting to, something like that, then, I mean, yeah, you should be able to, you know, go to the hospital for it, but I still do feel that there should be consequences for it. I don't think you should get off free of charge. I mean, people might argue that with saying, well, my parents grounded me. I mean, what's that really going to teach you, though? Parents ground kids for doing crazy things nowadays, and things that aren't crazy. Like, I could... Like, let's say I'm sitting up on this rail right now.
Which you are.
My mom ground me for it, but I mean, I know some kids who would get grounded for doing something like this, because it's, and what would that teach them? Nothing, you know? So, I feel that, yeah, there are both pros and cons to it.
But you don't think the pros outweigh the cons?
No, most definitely not.
Well, thanks for crossing about half the questions. All right, well, thanks for your time, Russell.
Yep, no problem, dude.